everyone. Welcome back to another awesome episode of Third Shot Podcast. Before we dive into this week's episode, please go to our social media, Instagram and Facebook at Third Shot Podcast, or on X at Third Shot Pod. You can also find all of our previous episodes as well as apparel and other fun things on our website, thirdshotpodcast.com, and watch us on YouTube at Third Shot Podcast. Third Shot Podcast. You'll find us everywhere.
How many times can we say Third Shot Podcast? Come on, let's go for the record here, right?
Right? I mean, another drinking game aside from our 3 shots that we do can just be every time they hear Third Shot on our show, just take a drink.
Are you willing to do that as well?
I'm drinking coffee, so it wouldn't really impact me that much. And I would appreciate it because I need to get this inside me.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
Cheers.
To a first of third shots. 3
Yeah.
shots. So you need coffee. Tell us why you need coffee. Are you worn out?
It has been a very fun and busy week. We just wrapped up finishing celebrating my mom's birthday, but the events of this week kind of started on Tuesday. You came into town to visit, so you and I got to get together. We had a great dinner. On the same day, my mom's cousin, who comes out very frequently and is a listener of the show, shout out to Susan, she came out, and then after our dinner I met up with them on the strip to go gambling and to kind of just walk around and do the touristy thing. But she also wanted to take my mom out for dinner for her birthday, so Wednesday night we went to the Bacchanal buffet at Caesars. Oh
Ooh.
my gosh, that I left feeling so stuffed.
Well, we ate all you can eat sushi the night before, and then you went to the buffet at Caesars the night after. Holy moly.
Yes, I've been basically eating one meal a day this week just to be like sushi, all right, buffet. And then on Thursday, we left Las Vegas to drive to St. George, which is a quick 2-hour drive from here. It's a beautiful little city, and it's about an hour away from Zion. So we stayed the night Thursday night. Then Friday was my mom's birthday, so we drove out to Zion from St. George to do a hike at Zion. We did the Lower Emerald Pools hike, which was great. We had my nephew with me and my mom and everything, and we were all able to do it. And she's so funny. She's kind of afraid of heights, but she won't say I'm afraid of heights. She's like, my body is afraid of heights because mentally she's like, I can do this. I got this. But then once she starts going up and kind of seeing everything and looking down and seeing the canyon, then she starts getting cold sweats and she starts feeling kind of nauseous. And then she's like, oh my God, my body just doesn't want to go up any higher. So she did a fantastic job. She really pushed herself and challenged herself and made it all the way to the top and all the way back down. And it was so much fun.
Well, happy birthday, sis. I thank you for listening to the show and being such a great supporter of Third Shot. And I'm glad you had a fantastic birthday. But I'm curious, did she know what she was getting into when you guys scheduled this trip? Like, as
She
far as the
did.
hikes
Actually,
go?
so this was on her bucket list, was to go to Zion because she'd never been before. And her other sister, Christine, has said fabulous things about it. So she's like, I really want to do it. And we live so close. Like, how come we haven't done it yet? So for her birthday, that's what she asked for. I showed her the list of hikes on the Zion National Park website, and it details each of the hikes quite well and saying this is the elevation gain, this is kind of what to expect from it. And she was the one who chose that hike, so she knew what she was getting herself into. She wasn't upset about it at all. She really enjoyed the hike. It's just that I think as she's gotten older, her body just is trying to preserve itself or something. So she has a little bit of a
That's
fright.
funny.
Heights,
That's funny.
yeah.
I'm glad she enjoyed it. Did I mean, you sent me pictures and it's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it is so pretty up there. The
Is that
weather
your
is
first time?
No, I'd gone once before with Shelly. We did just a little trip when I first moved out to Vegas. But the weather's a lot nicer up there.
Hmm.
for someone who might not be used to high temps, it might still feel really hot, but if you're from Vegas going to Zion, it feels so much better. Like tons of trees and grass and water, and there's a little bit more moisture in the air, and it's still over 100 degrees, but it just feels so much better to be in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was hot in Vegas, while I was there that week. It was high 90s, low hundreds, pretty much the whole week I was there. It was warm.
Yeah.
But
What did
what
you get up to?
well, Blaze, our trainer, right, at, Blaze and Iron, he had a neat little thing where he brings a group out to the park in the evening, and I did that with him on, Friday. So
Nice.
I got an hour workout in with this, group of people that also did the workout, and it was neat just doing it outside in a park, instead of, in the gym and that type of thing. So that was really fun. Amanda, our marketing person, was there as well. She was working out. We were all just sweating, getting our groove on, you know?
Yeah, and people do that hot yoga, you don't even need to be in a room for that here. Just go
No,
outside and work
go
out, right?
go outside and work out, and it's hot workout, right? So so we did that. I went to the driving range, did a little networking over at a driving range function one night. So yeah, I got some business in and got a workout in, got some fun in golfing. I hit the restaurant, so that was delicious. So it
Oh,
was a
yeah,
fantastic trip, and it was great getting together with you, and we had some friends with us, and it was a blast.
yeah, it was a lot of fun to have dinner, and I always love taking people for their first, like, all-you-can-eat experience because they're always, like, so blown away by the menu itself.
Yeah. Like, one of my friends that came with us, he was going, "And we get that too? And we can order that? And we can yeah, we" and I go, "Yeah, both sides of the menu. You can order anything on both sides of this menu." And it's cool, the place she took us to is really, like, they make it to order. Some
Mhm,
all-you-can-eat places, they kinda prep everything, and then you just kinda go and choose whatever you want. This, like,
right.
you just order right off the menu like you would, any restaurant, and they just make it fresh, and it's right there. They bring it to your table, and you just go nuts,
You
and
know what
that's
I
what
did?
we did.
I think we need to add a tab to our website or maybe our Instagram page or somewhere where we can just list out all of our favorite Vegas restaurants so that
Oh,
if
that's a good
people
idea.
who are in town or listening and are curious to try these places, it's just right there.
We should put it on our website. That's just
Yeah.
another little bonus to go into the thirdshotpodcast.com website. Get
Yeah,
the all the food recommendations and also maybe some activity recommendations too.
that's true. Yeah, like a curated list, a third
Yeah.
shot.
There's a
Take you
bunch of fun things to do. You know what needs to be on that list, which I really enjoy, is the Pinball Hall of Fame Museum.
Yes, that is one of my favorite activities here.
Yeah, I mean, all you can play. I mean, you still it just costs you a quarter on most of the machines, and you get to play machines from, I don't know, the 1960s, 50s, 70s. I mean, all the way up to recent machines. And I think whatever they used to charge at the time the machine was out at first is what they charge to play it now. Is that right? Is that how it works?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, that might make sense because there are some of, like, the more vintage machines, and those are less
A
expensive to
quarter.
play than, like, the newer ones where it's, like,
Yeah,
maybe 75 cents to a dollar. But,
yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can play for, like, an hour on, like, $5. Unless
yeah.
you're really bad, then maybe you need $10, I'm not sure.
Well, that's the thing, if you're good though, you still can win games, right? Just like, the
Right.
good old days, right? If you score a certain thing, you win a free game, and same thing there. If you score a certain you win a free game, you can go forever. And a
Yep.
lot of people, they just wanna try different machines, so even if they win a game, they just leave it there. So last time I was there, I'd walk around and say, "Oh, there's a free game sitting here," and I try it out. That's so cool.
Yeah, or at the end of the game, there's always a random number that pops
Yeah.
up,
The
and if
match.
that number matches, but a lot of people don't know that that's a thing on pinball machines, and so they earn a free game or they win that free game and they walk away like you said. So, for the people in the know, you can walk around and find some free games.
Yep. Yep, rookies. They can leave free games all the time.
We'll take it.
Yeah, next time I'm down, maybe we should go hit the pinball museum and take some videos or take some pictures, we'll post them.
Yeah, I would love that. Let's do it.
That'd be fun.
Put it on the list.
Well, on the list, we gotta hit Tampa and play some pickleball out there
Yeah.
because our guest today, started the Tampa Pickleball Crew, and they have a facility out in Tampa, and it is really cool. I'm gonna let them describe it because it's kinda unique. It's not like most pickleball club. So anyway, we're gonna bring on Susan and Kayla. They are two of the owners of the Tampa Pickleball Crew. While we bring them in, gives everybody an opportunity to go, hey, go check out that website. We've been talking about it. We're gonna post all the food. We're gonna post the activities. But as Bridgie said, we already have some merch. We have all of our old episodes. thirdshotpodcast.com. Please go check it out. Check out us on the podcast platforms. Look up Third Shot Podcasts and social media. We love hearing from you on our social media, whether it's Instagram, X, Facebook, we're everywhere. And while you go like us and hit the 5 stars whenever possible, let's bring on Kayla and Susan.
Thanks for having us.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. And we can't wait to hear more about your facility. But before we do, we're going to do a quick toast to both of you, Kayla and Susan, with Tampa Pickleball Crew. Cheers.
Cheers. Yummy.
So, yeah, right. Yeah. The two of you have a really unique facility. And for our listeners who may not have had the pleasure of seeing what this facility looks like online, can you describe to them what an open air pickleball facility is?
Yeah, so we have 12 courts. This was an old steel manufacturing plant that got repurposed. It had been vacant for I don't know, I think 10 years before we had really moved in. And so we kind of remodeled, keeping the integrity, keeping the industrial look. So we have 12 courts, but it's almost like a hybrid between like an airplane hangar and a pavilion, where some of the paneling along the walls was taken down or just didn't exist in the first place. So it gets natural airflow throughout. You can enter from many different points. So it keeps you out of the rain, it keeps you out of the sun, and out of those elements, but it's an open air facility.
That is so cool. I've never been in an open air facility before. I've been in like courts that have a cover, but
Mhm.
you have 12 courts that are completely covered. And I love the fact that you get that natural breeze coming through or that fresh air
Mhm.
coming through when you're playing. That's gotta
Totally.
feel good.
Totally.
Mhm.
So, but the two of you are just two of the crew. Tell everybody who else. Susan, why don't you tell us everybody that's part of the crew?
So we have myself and Kayla, and then Jennifer and Danae. Jennifer and myself are the two who created the LLC Tampa Pickleball Crew, and then we brought on Danae as our ops person. And lastly, and most coveted, she's our golden ticket, was Kayla, because she owns her own social media marketing company as well. And she was already a dear friend and helping us out a lot already anyways. So we brought her on. She asked to come on as a partner, and we were like, didn't think for more than a second and said, yep, you're in it with us. So, and it's crazy because we're all so different, but it's pretty seamless, our roles that we each have.
That's amazing. I do have to ask, did you all meet through pickleball or what's the relationship between the four of you?
Well, Jen and Susan were like good friends. How long have you guys known each other for?
We've known each other for about 10 years, and we learned how to play pickleball together.
Awesome.
And then
And
you guys
then,
played pickleball with Danae's partner, right? And that's how
yes,
yeah.
yes,
And
yes.
in my previous role before I started my own marketing company, I was at a big boutique fitness studio and Susan was a member there. And I even hired at the time her son, Jack, to come work there. And so, yeah, she was kind of like a mentor and a friend and everything for many years. And it was, you know, she'd been planting the seed for a while, wanting to do pickleball tournaments or wanting to come up with some kind of philanthropic initiatives around pickleball and do some different things. And I was so proud when her and Jen finally pulled the trigger that I had a little FOMO and said, put me in that too. And it was very, everybody was very complimentary in their roles, and everything has kind of worked out perfectly.
Mhm.
So Susan, you and Jen kind of formed the LLC, and, you know, I'm guessing when people find out that you're opening up, you know, this pickleball facility, you're probably getting people from all over the place. Like, how do I get involved? How do I, you know, I want to be part of that because, you know, it's such a cool idea. The sport's growing so fast. Obviously, you put together the dream team with the four of you. Like, how did you, I don't know, pick the right people, the right partners?
I think that they really came to Jen and myself when we were doing when we created the LLC. Then we started to get our name out there by doing tournaments with Tampa Parks and Rec, and each and every one of our tournaments sold out, and we would donate the proceeds back to Tampa Parks and Rec so they could have some improvement with their pickleball courts, whether it be a new picnic table or a new windscreen or some type of improvement because it was needed. And they were so gracious and let us use those courts for Saturday afternoons in the dead heat of summer in Tampa, and they all sold out. And Danae came to us, and because we met Danae through her partner, and Danae came to us, and she's a sports management professor at the University of Tampa. And she said, I would like my students to work at those tournaments to get hours, volunteer hours. And so we needed people, and we didn't know what we needed them for, whether it was filling water jugs or taking the scores or being referees, but we're like, okay. So that's how we ingratiated her into this. And then after our tournaments, and Jen and I wanted to start looking for even property to do one court. And she came to us and said, I don't just want to help run tournaments. I want to be your third partner. And so she came to us, and then we did our first photo shoot. Jen and I planned our first photo shoot. We gathered friends and relatives and people off the courts just to have a photo shoot to get our name out there. And Kayla's company did the photo shoot. And I remember handing Kayla the check for it. And I don't even think she cashed it. I don't even think she cashed the check for the photographer. She actually did throw it away in the trash at the park. So yeah, it was an accident, but I'm like, okay. And she did her photographers the photos were so darling and so like just are on brand of what Jen and I wanted. That then when she showed them to us, we pulled people from the courts, and they were like mad at us, but then they haunted us to get those photos so they could see themselves, and they loved them. And so we put those out on social media and to advertise that we were, going to start a club. And then Kayla came to me because I was blowing her up about everything. How's our logo? How's this? What about this? What should we do with this? How should we market this? And she was already working for us, basically so graciously for free. And so she came to me and said, I'm already basically doing stuff for you. I want to be your fourth partner. And literally, I didn't even consult the other two. I said, yeah, sure. So, and we still joke about that today. Like that was pretty easy. And it's been awesome. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And what I love is that community was kind of like the focus on, or you used your community a lot to get your company to where it is now. And
yes.
What you're doing at the facility is putting forth the community, and just looking at your website and your Instagram presence. Like that is one of the main focuses of what you all do there, and through
Mhm.
the events that you put on. So share with some of our listeners on the types of things beyond just tournaments and open play that you host at the facility.
Yeah, so we one of the things that's even unique with our open play is everything is capacity controlled. So you're never waiting very long to play. You can pre-book your time to play. So it's very kind of opposite of the ethos of going to a park and maybe not knowing what competition you're going to get, if you're going to be the same skill level. And our members really resonated with that. They wanted to meet and play with people that were of a like skill level in a predictable environment. And then we started to spice things up with events. So some of our most popular formats, we do kind of round robin scrambles where we change partners every 10 minutes. We track our winningest players. We do live DJ open plays where we bring in a DJ and we have music bump in, and sometimes occasionally there's vendors set up, and it's just a little bit of an extra social vibe. Through the fall and the spring, we do a singles mixer, which is like actually single individuals coming and playing, and it's kind of like speed dating. We play Cupid at the paddle racks, and we're putting paddles together, and people get to meet different single people, and we've
Mhm.
definitely seen relationships come out of that, which has been really sweet and, you know, endearing to see. We just launched this summer something called Survivor, which is kind of inspired by the TV show of, you know, you're competing for immunity, you're competing to survive just one more round constantly. Those are 4-hour signature events where there's tournament elements, but then there's really crazy skills challenges, there's sudden death battles, there's gauntlet, lightning round, all kinds of really fun different
Mhm.
formats. And that's been a smash. People are like obsessed with that. So we're excited to
Love that.
keep building on that. But we just like to take the social side of pickleball, the competitive side of pickleball, and kind of marry them in a way that keeps people coming back, keeps them entertained, keeps it interesting. And then we couple it with, you know, hopefully very good hospitality where they feel taken care of and excited to be there. And we just try to keep it spicy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, to play off that, we've had, I mean, so many people that are members here. They've all met by coming to our facility, and now it's their friend group, and they'll say, oh, we met up with 50 other people and their spouses at such and such, and I'm like, what, did you guys meet here? Yeah,
I mean,
yes. It's like so crazy, and it's, I mean, a lot of times I say it's not even about pickleball anymore, it's about the community that we've built, and it just happens to be through and around pickleball. And it's just such a social, bring people together sport, as you guys know. And it's really, really quite satisfying and heartwarming as owners of a facility that has brought so many people together in such a positive way.
Isn't pickleball amazing that way? I mean,
Yes.
it is the best community that, Bridgie and I have ever been around. I mean, just the
Hmm.
how inclusive and welcoming the pickleball community is. And with us doing this
Hmm.
podcast, we've met so many new friends, and, we can travel around. Hopefully we can come out and see you guys in Tampa at some
We'd
point.
love it. Hmm.
It's just amazing how the pickleball community is just so inviting, and
Right.
it's so cool. So you kind of touched on what's been the most satisfying for you. What's been the big challenges that you guys have had trying to get this off the ground and growing as to be as successful as it is for you?
I think the permitting, all of the red
Mm.
tape per se, um, we just didn't know a lot about that. So that's been the most challenging because there wasn't, nobody really at the city knew what to do with us with like an open air facility. It's a very tough thing. Nobody's ever permitted that, or it's for zoning purposes and that kind of thing. So that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest in my eyes. Would you say, Kayla?
No, for sure. I think, you know, if we're gonna go like non-related to construction and city stuff, just more from like an operation standpoint, I think we got really fortunate that we opened up right as pickleball was becoming very common in our city. Like, courts were bursting at the seams, but we didn't have to educate people too much on the sport. We didn't have to like explain why you should pay to go to a club versus going to a park and playing for free, right? But those are kind of some of the common obstacles that happen. It's really just helping people understand our model and why you would belong to a club when there might be courts all over the city. I think that was a challenge. And then I think another challenge is helping people who are your everyday playing for fun players start to understand their skill level and help them understand how to get better. Maybe when the end goal is never for them to actually play in a tournament, they're not trying to go pro, they're just moving their body, having fun, exercising, being social, but there are boundaries around skill levels and, moving people through and making sure they have a good time. And I think that's a very natural challenge that probably every club goes through. But yeah, I would think really we've been very fortunate to have people that have like a lot of grace and a lot of patience, both with our building and our processes and our people. And if those are the worst of our problems, I'll take it.
For sure.
So when you were looking for a building to put your facility in, did you have this in mind? Was this your vision, or while you were kind of shopping around for facilities, you found this and you just, kind of blossomed from there with the idea?
Well, I know Danae, we got very fortunate because Danae like knew someone who knew someone who knew someone who knew of the space kind of thing. And our landlord, where we are, is in the heart of Ybor City, which historically has really been known for its nightlife, and also its port, like very industrial shipping kind of area. And our landlord is part of a team that's really investing in renovating this whole part of our city over the next 10 to 15 years into something called Gasworks, which is insane. And so he had this property that he was really open to repurposing for something that would drive daytime traffic, be a healthy addition to the community. It wasn't really centered around like music or alcohol or nightlife. And he thought it would be really, really good for the city. And so we were really fortunate to get something of this size and square footage in this area of town with the agreement that we were able to build with him. I know, Susan, you had looked at a lot of warehouses and things like that all around, but it's really hard to get something, of course, in this economy and like a dense in like actually in the city. A lot of the clubs that were popping up were like on the fringes of town, where you have to drive 40 minutes to go play pickleball. Whereas we're really right off the expressway. I mean, it was a gold mine in so many ways, just so easy to get to, so convenient, great property, really just a cool reuse. And I think a lot of people championed that too because it was something really good for that area.
It's a very raw space, very industrial. So
I think that's the charm of it, though, is the industrial
feel. It is
I'm not obsessed with the way it looks.
Oh my gosh, when you come in, a lot of people from the outside are very like, where are we? When we have some private events like team building for offices or corporate events, and we have people come in off a bus and they've got their suits on and they're like looking around like, oh my goodness. And I was like, yep, this is it. And so,
and I have to give my flowers to Jen and Susan because they really put a lot of glitter on that space with the lockers and the paint and the picnic tables and the turf and the umbrellas and little Adirondack chairs, and like really still making it feel like a premium space, taking a relatively dilapidated warehouse and making it feel safe and charming and welcoming and clean, and it helped to add to the value of the space.
Thank you, Lovey. That was Jen and I were we had a vision in that, and it's so a little funny thing is that we have these picnic tables and we're in the middle of our hangout area, and they of course have a hole in the middle for an umbrella, and of course Jen and I have umbrellas in there because it makes the space. And I know
you're inside.
That you're inside and you don't need an umbrella, but it's all the decor. It's all about the decor. And so our other partner, Danae, was just baffled. Why are you spending money? Why are you spending money on umbrellas? It's inside. And we're like, trust us.
It's so cute.
Trust us. And they're so cute. It's like, okay. She still doesn't get it, but she'll say, everybody else is asking me too. but that was so funny because we're like, that just was so natural for us, you know? And we also have our Kayla calls these things our surprise and delights. And so we have popsicles that we offer, Powerade popsicles, or just whatever type of popsicles we can get. And just a little, like Kayla says, a surprise and delight to offer to our members because it's warm in here, okay? And they play for hours upon hours. And then one of the tournaments was 4th of July, one of our tournaments outside when we held them to get our name out. It was out in the dead heat of summer. And I had thought of bringing cold scented towels, and I just rolled a bunch of them and froze them in my freezer at home. And I brought them, and without really talking to the other owners about it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I just think because it's so bloody hot out there, somebody needs a relief. People need relief. And it was like, oh my goodness. So now we have cold towels here. And that's another surprise and delight. So just those little special things that you do. A woman tonight came up to our employee and said, I couldn't play here if I didn't have these cold towels. I got so overheated the last time. She was an older woman. And then she said, I've been making cold towels for my husband when he mows the lawn. And I'm just like, and our employee's like, oh, that was Susan's idea. I love to hear that. I love to hear people loving the cold towels. So, but just stuff like that you can do, small little surprise and delights that go such a long way. And for very little money. And I think it means a lot to our members.
Oh, it sets you apart because nobody
Yes.
else is doing that. And it really,
No.
people remember those little
Mhm.
touches that you guys do that, they're not
Yes.
getting anywhere else. And like you were saying, Kayla, they're
Exactly.
not getting it at the park. Nobody's giving them cold towels at the park
No,
or
no.
popsicles. So,
Right.
that's
Right.
so cool.
Mhm.
Because you're open air and it's covered, obviously, the sun's not an issue.
Mhm.
How does it protect you from humidity or like wind? I would think it kind of does, right?
It does.
Wind a bit, but because it's open air, it's subject to whatever the temperature is of Tampa, Florida. So, it can get toasty just in the nature of, it can be hot outside. So if it's hot outside, it's going to be a little bit warmer in our space, but we have tons of fans and cold towels and popsicles, and people sign up in 2-hour blocks. So if they want to keep playing, they can sign up for another session. So yeah, you guys know people get addicted. You got to try to get them off the courts and go home, sit down, have a cold water.
So with the
But it
location,
also keeps the cold.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
What's that? I said it also keeps the cold in. When it was really cold in Tampa, Florida, we were like, the other day we were just asking our employees, like, oh my gosh, we can't believe we complained when we had to wear stocking caps and parkas inside. And now we're like, we want to strip our layers. So, but it does. It's either, and we did bring in hot chocolate and when it was so cold. So hot coffee and hot chocolate, lots of mornings for our members. So yeah.
I love that you all do that for your members because not only is it excellent customer service and sets you apart, but I really think that it shows that you all as owners care about the people who are coming to your facility, and it's that thoughtfulness that keeps them coming back.
Totally.
Right. Yes.
So it sounds like it's a membership. Do people, tell us a little bit about your membership programs or drop-in programs if they're not members? Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so our entire schedule is technically open to anybody. There's nothing that is members only. But if you do get a membership, it reduces the cost per visit. So you can save money by having a membership. We have 3 different membership levels. We have it for unlimited visits per month, 8 visits per month, or 4 visits per month, like once a week, twice a week, or unlimited. We also offer like a first responder military discount on those. And then we offer single session passes. So if you're not ready to commit to a membership or you're just dropping in from time to time or visiting the area, you can just pay as you go. So just a single session pass. And then we occasionally run like sales you can buy a bunch of those passes at a discount. But yeah, so you can sign up for anything on our schedule, whether you're a member, a drop-in, court rental, whatever it might be.
How far in advance are they able to make reservations?
Yeah, so our system, they can book up to 7 days in advance. Certain events, we allow for up to 90-day advance booking. Same thing with like lessons or private events. But it's a rolling 7-day schedule. So right about 20 minutes ago, 6 p.m. Eastern time, open for next Sunday. So it's just a rolling schedule per session. And some of our sessions do fill up really quickly. And then others, you might be able to sign up, 5 minutes in advance and book your spot.
Well, I know a lot of people are going to want to sign up, especially after hearing how cool it is. And if they're traveling into the Tampa area, tell us, how much does it cost for them to, book a court for an hour or do a drop-in for a couple of hours?
Yeah, so single session pass is just $16. Most of our sessions are 2 hours. So that can be scrambles up and down the river, open play, or even some of our mini tournaments. You can actually book just using a session pass. And then our court rentals are $40. You get the court for the hour, and it covers you and up to 5 of your guests. It also includes paddle rentals, and we obviously supply balls for all of our programs too. So kind of a quick and easy.
That's amazing. And where can they go to see photos or videos of this amazing, unique facility and sign up for sessions?
Yeah, so to get the best look at our facility, see what's happening, and feel for our guests, that's going to be our Instagram, which is just our handle is just Tampa Pickleball Crew, CREW. And then our website, which is tampapickleballcrew.com. You can click on our schedule, see our full lineup of programming. You can see, most common questions, things like that. And that's also where you can buy a drop-in or a membership, camps, clinics, lessons, all kinds of stuff on there.
And you can also download our app.
Yeah, the app is really easy to use. Just
App
Tampa
is
Pickleball
very
Crew.
easy to use, very user-friendly. And it's just Tampa Pickleball Crew.
And is the app for both types of phones? You can use Apple or you can use your
I believe so. Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you both for coming on. Let's take our third shot before we let you go. Cheers.
Man.
What are you drinking there, Greg?
Cheers.
I am actually going with a White Claw today.
Nice.
Something refreshing in the summer,
Perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect for this show.
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending on my mood, right? Sometimes I'll get into the hard stuff. And sometimes I want something refreshing like a White Claw. Sometimes it's first thing in the morning that the only time our guests can do it is like 8 in the morning, and then I got to do coffee shots.
Yeah,
it just depends.
Well, hopefully we can get you guys here to Tampa and we can do cheers all together in person and take some real shots.
Yeah. Well, Eric over at L Cube Lifestyle, and he has been hounding us to get out to Florida to come visit him and all of his contacts out there. It sounds like
he's got a ton of contacts. In fact, we have a call that Kayla's going to be on. She wasn't on the last one, about all the things that he wants to do here at the crew. So
and he's just the best. I mean, can't say enough about Eric. He's just fantastic. Right. He's got a great company going with L Cube Lifestyle, but he's he's out there helping clubs or paddle companies or instructors. He's helping the whole community, and that's what I really like about him.
Yeah.
So
we appreciate him introducing us to you.
So thank you for that. And thank you, both of you, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We are definitely going to make it out there at some point. And we really encourage all of our listeners, if you're going to be out in Florida, especially Tampa, which I think is probably my favorite area of Florida. I love Tampa area. Please go check out the Tampa Pickleball Crew. And for all you listening, thank you for joining us at Third Shot, where Brigie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. A real special thanks to Kayla and Susan for coming on today. Check out their website again, TampaPickleballCrew.com, and on Instagram, Tampa Pickleball Crew. And you can support this show by subscribing, and we promise to have more amazing guests just like Kayla and Susan on future episodes. So let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.